Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
March 2, 2021, the FinCEN takes center stage edition. And we begin with that story from Dylan Tokar at the Risk and Compliance Journal of the Wall Street Journal. As over the last year, a small outside the compliance realm, relatively obscure bureau of the U.S. Treasury Department has been tagged to take the lead in plugging what many experts consider the biggest hole in the U.S.'s AML protections. It's the FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, which now with sweeping AML law of 2020 requires the agency to build a state-of-the-art corporate ownership registry meant to help authorities unmask the beneficial owners of anonymous shell corporations and track the flow of illicit money. FinCEN, who has roughly 300 employees, accounts for less than 1% of those working in the Treasury Department and will need to muster the technical expertise to build a system that can store and analyze the ownership information of possibly tens of millions of businesses. The agency will also have to write a host of controversial regulations surrounding the law, as well as start a whistleblower's reward program and establish national priorities that financial institutions can use to create risk-based compliance programs. As James Fries, the former FinCEN director, said, it's a pretty big mandate for a small institution. We can only hope that FinCEN's up to it, as this is definitely a needed step. Also from the Wall Street Journal, the U.S. has to take a hard line on China trade practices. The Biden administration said it will use all available tools to respond to alleged unfair trade practices by Beijing as it conducts a comprehensive review of its trade policy with China. Releasing its first trade agenda, the administration says it's committed to using tariffs and other tools to combat alleged unfair trade practices by China, including unfair subsidies to favored industries and use of forced labor that targets Uyghurs and other ethnic minorities. The Biden administration recognizes China's coercive and unfair trade practices, the administration said. So looks like a continuation of what was started under the Trump administration. The New York Times reports that 2 Americans accused of helping former Nissan chief Carlos Ghosn escape Japan in a speaker box in 2019 have been extradited to Japan to face criminal charges for their actions in helping him to escape justice in Japan. The 2 Americans, a father-son team of Michael Kelly and his son Peter Maxwell Kelly, helped Ghosn escape, and now they have been extradited to Japan to face the music for their role. And finally, from the Washington Post, a Trader Joe's employee appealed directly to the CEO for stronger coronavirus measures. And what happened? The company fired him. The company responded that it fired him, of course, for workplace violations. And it really demonstrates how even a progressive, forward-thinking company like Trader Joe's can really step into it if they don't have a transparent institutional justice and fairness. The termination of this employee who went directly to the CEO to try to do a sensible thing and protect not only the company employees but company customers really speaks of a terrible culture within Trader Joe's. One can only hope this will change.
The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.